we believe that we need to make government more affordable, roll back how much money we spend so we could live within our means. Our good friends on the other side of the aisle, the Democrats, believe that the way to close that gap is to increase taxes, and they've proposed a budget of $1.8 billion in tax increases, the largest tax increase in the history of the state of Connecticut. Over $300 million in business taxes, additional taxes that would be put on business. And here are the facts. It came as a surprise to many of us that 73% of Connecticut businesses employ 9 or less employees. 53% of Connecticut businesses employ 4 or less employees, the backbone of our state, and they're losing their jobs. 7,000 businesses since January. 7,000 businesses since January have closed their doors. 26,000 businesses have closed their doors in the last 2 years. Since July of '08, we have lost approximately 70,000 jobs. 70,000 people have gotten that pink slip, gone home to their families, sat at that kitchen table, looked their spouse and children in the eye and said, guys, I'm out of work.
I'm Lori Roy. I'm the Human Resources Manager for this location. So I'm the one that gets to sit along with the supervisor and deliver messages to 28 families earlier this year that we had to cut back. So we've lost 28 jobs, which impacted 28 families just since March. In addition to that, we've also taken away 401k match, which is something that we're not proud of, but we would rather stay in business, and we've asked our employees to help us through this. We've had a significant amount of expense control, cost cutting where we can. We've been engaging the employees that we have to do that. We've not given out increases this year for our salaried folks.
What was that like, to sit across the table from someone who's worked here 15 years, that I assume you know their families, whatever. I mean, not to get melodramatic, but what was that like?
Well, it's really hard to describe.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's the worst part of being in any leadership role.
Let me ask you another question. We as Americans over the last several months read these headlines of these, in fact we're almost numb to it, billions of dollars in stimulus. You folks see any of it?
Yeah, no. Sorry, no.
You haven't seen a nickel of the money that's coming out of Washington?
I'm not sure where all the money is coming from in Washington.
Currently, business pays about $1 billion in business taxes. The Democratic proposal wants to increase that by $300 million. That's where over 2 years. So that's where the 30% comes in. Let me ask you one final question, if I may, and we could open it up or go on to another story. You indicated so far that you laid off 28 people since March. You took away your 401k match. You've asked them to increase their contribution to their health care. You've had expense control, no salary increases, and you've had little to no investment in capital projects. That's what you had to do to survive and to keep your 161 remaining employees still employed. What is your expectation for us in government to do to get our fiscal house in order?
Well, I think you're going to have to do some of the same things that we've done in business, and I think that means cutting costs. And I know no one likes to do it. We don't enjoy doing it either, but I think as the leaders of the state, that's what's required, just like it was required of me to sit across and tell an employee that they don't have a job. And nobody likes that, and I don't want to see that happen to people in the state either, but I think that we're all in it together, and I think that we're all going to have to make cuts in our expenses, just like we do personally and we do in business. I think that the state government needs to do the same thing. I would really like to see that state government partner with businesses on how we might do that. We're not looking for everyone to do it alone. I think there's a lot of businesses in the state that would be willing to help and share some of the things that we've done around that. But I don't think that adding more taxes to businesses or to individuals is the sole answer. I think it needs to be bigger than that.